Hey guys, it's Kylie. I know it's been a while since I made a video, so I thought I would do an Ask Roundup. But right now my Ask inbox is sort of full of questions for the Unabashed Book Snobbery podcast Julie and I are recording, I think, tomorrow, which is going to be on the problems, the flaws of the A Song of Ice and Fire books. I know we obviously focus on the flaws of the show a lot. And I thought I might do just kind of a fun Ask Roundup today, which is going to be an Ask Roundup of all Poe's Law asks that I get. So, yeah, let's dive into it. They're all from Anonymous, and I think it'll be pretty obvious why. Let's go in. Alright, first up. If you have a problem with Tormund's behavior, then you don't understand real men. If a fag called me gay, I'd sure as hell beat his ass. Maybe not kill him, but beat his ass for sure. Nobody likes having their sexuality questioned. Alright, so for anyone who doesn't remember, the Lord of Bones sort of implies that Tormund is sexually attracted to Jon Snow, and Tormund, this is in Hardhome, the episode, and Tormund fucking murders him, which is the biggest overreaction to no homo ever. How am I supposed to answer this? Maybe not kill him. Alright, that's so magnanimous of you, Anon. But that is some deep-seated insecurity, and if you're that worried about your sexuality being questioned, you might want to ask why, because if you are so secure in, I guess, being straight, then who the fuck cares if someone calls you gay? I don't care if someone calls me straight. Well, I mean, I'd correct them. I don't care. I wouldn't beat their ass. I don't understand real men. Next. Robert did literally nothing wrong. George R. R. Martin has a third grader's understanding of economics and law. What? He was like a hands-off king who fucking bankrupted the realm, and yeah, you could say Littlefinger was, destabilizing stuff, but he did literally nothing wrong. Raping his wife was fine. Fathering all his bastards, yeah. When have bastards ever led to any issues of inheritance in Westeros? What even are Blackfires, am I right? Oh my god. Yeah, Robert, what a cinnamon roll. That's the takeaway that we're supposed to be getting from that, and poor Rhaegar, just... Why did I do this? This was the dumbest idea I've ever had. Alright. Same theme. Book! Randall Tarley did literally nothing is wrong. His actions are identical to the ones Ned would have taken in the same circumstances, just with ruder wording. Yeah, I don't think it's ruder wording to chain your son to the wall because he wanted to be a maester and you view that as, unmanly or whatever. Just with ruder wording. Yeah, he's a fucking rape apologist. I don't know what you want. Rape apology almost defines his fucking character. I just can't believe there's people that, might actually read these books and come away with the idea that, you gotta do what you gotta do to uphold the feudal order. It's very important. Alright, femininity is maligned and treated as a weakness? What world do you think we live in? The 19th century? Those eras are long past, and the two genders have long since been considered as equals. Okay, first of all, Anon, there are more than two genders. Second of all, what world do you live in? I mean, watch the fucking show! And all the feminine women are, weak and killed off, or fixed into being strong in the D&D way. So, femininity is yeah, it's just not really taken seriously. Women who are more feminine coded and more internally driven are written off as being bland or terrible, and it's really only the action women who are celebrated. The two genders have long since been considered equal. Okay. This is maybe writing this in 2015, I could sort of understand why someone would have this viewpoint, but just looking at the past week and the fucking, birth control mandate being rolled back and just blatant attacks on women. I mean, I know that that's a little bit different than femininity, but what world does this Anon live in where he's yeah, we did it. Progress over. There is equality between the two genders. Oh my god. The two genders, 1 and 0. As a man, I don't find the show toxically masculine. Okay. Sam was a coward and he needed to man up. Only way to protect the love of his life and their son. It's a valuable lesson which is important for every man. Reading about greater men is nice and all, but sometimes you have to become great to protect the ones you love. You bet your ass his father will finally be proud in the afterlife and not think of his son as a pussy. I can show you how to be strong in the real way. I mean, God, like, all of these anons, I just want them to watch Steven Universe, and it's okay, like, there are men who are super masculine and super into physical strength, and that's fine. The issue is that you shouldn't be upholding a society where that's the only way to protect people, and, like, maybe this society's kind of bullshit, although there's no consistent setting in Game of Thrones, so I don't even know. It's just like, okay. Anonymous said you would take Cersei over Chet, really? So I was talking about like shitty POV characters, and I was saying that like Chet was a complete piece of shit, and that like I think it was like people writing off Cersei as a one-note villain, and I was like, I would rather hang out with Cersei. I would rather like exist with her, and I would definitely rather read her than Chet. Chet is one of those like he was what, the prologue chapter to Storm and Stone? I'm not remembering which one he was in. Chet was one of those guys that was like, you could tell he never really had a chance, but he's a fucking piece of shit. He was one of the mutineers, one of the Night's Watch mutineers. Whereas Cersei, like, I just don't understand why people aren't willing to dig into her tragedy a little bit more, and, you know, the way that her internalized misogyny has sort of corroded away, the way she has these unhealthy conceptions about love and fear and leadership, the way that, you know, her father's abuse really shaped all of that. And yeah, she's a much, I don't see how you can read all of Cersei's chapters in A Feast for Crows and come away like, you know who I want to read more on is that one chapter of The Mutineer, because that was really just packed. Like, it was fine. It was an interesting viewpoint. It was actually one of the very few viewpoints of a non-nobility. We don't really get that a lot, other than, like, Mel, maybe. Anyway, yeah, yes, really, yes. This next one I'm 100% certain is Poe's Law. You say you are pregnant, then one day later, Kylie, your name, Jenner, is pregnant. Coincidence? I think not. Yes, I have been living a double life as Kylie Jenner. And, yeah, sure. I really am actually embarrassed to say I do keep up with the Kardashians, and I watch stuff like Bachelor, Bachelorette, and Bachelor in Paradise. I would blame it on my sister, but, like, it's, yeah, I do that. I do that shit. All right. So, you'd find South Park bad if it didn't have progressive takeaways? Isn't part of progressiveness about having more empathy? Why would it be bad for the show to have non-progressive takeaways? This is literally so much for the tolerant left. I mean, I'm tolerant of people with non-progressive viewpoints existing, but that doesn't mean that I'd find a show that, like, articulates non-progressive things to be compelling in any way. Yeah, I probably would find it bad if, like, what would South Park even be arguing? Neoliberalism is good. Like, yeah, I would take strong issue with a show like that. Like, having empathy doesn't mean that you have to be compelled by every viewpoint. It just means you have to try to, like, understand when you can, and also realize that there's a human behind all these different viewpoints, so don't be a fucking asshole to people. That's what it means, but it doesn't mean, like, cowing on your own principles or watching media that's, like, super conservative. What the fuck? And finally, your opinions on cheating make it seem like you don't understand the point of a monogamous relationship. The entire reason cheating is bigger to people than debt is because you are breaking the fundamental rule of a monogamous. You are bringing a third party into a relationship, either to suit physical and or emotional needs, breaking the main promise you have made. Hence why most people, cheating is unforgivable! Also, the emotional aspect of it you don't seem to understand or have any sympathy for. Okay, so, like, for a while, I forget why this was happening. I think I was talking about how, like, I don't really give a shit about Cersei not of having cheated on Robert. I don't really give a shit about Cersei having slept with other people while Jaime was away. I didn't approve of Jaime's slut shaming. And some of that snowballed into me talking about my views on cheating in general, which is that, you know, like, it's, first of all, between the two people in a relationship, and I don't view it as this great, unforgivable sin personally. And I think the way that it's sort of put out there is like, the worst thing you can do is very, very rooted in, like, puritanical, patriarchal bullshit. That doesn't mean if you feel that way, like, it's a problem. I just think that that's why we do hold up sex stuff as, like, so much worse and so much. And to me, hi, I'm in a monogamous relationship right now because I find it very difficult if I feel one way about someone. I just, like, I'm not open to feeling that way about other people, and I wouldn't want to. It's kind of hard to explain, because I don't actually understand why I am monogamous at my core. I just know that I am, and this is the kind of relationship that makes me the most satisfied and happy, and I really feel like that support is important. But to me, if, you know, Griffin were to be lying about, like, if he were secretly gambling behind my back, that's like something that I used. Or if he was just lying about, like, little weird bullshit things, that would be a breakdown of trust that I would consider as detrimental as if he went out and stuck his penis in something else. Like, why would I put more emphasis on that than on anything else? I also don't know if people are aware that, like, cheating a lot of times results in breakups, but not always. People can work through it. Watch Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, actually. Seasons 2 and 3. Well, 3's only had one episode out so far, but it gets into this, and it gets into the trust factor, and there's like room for nuance, and there's room for fucking up and stuff like that. So the emotional aspect of it, like, I don't know what that means. I am very emotional about my own relationship and the trust between us, and I definitely understand that being broken. What I don't have much of an understanding of is why trust being broken in way A is so much worse than trust being broken in way B. The whole point of a monogamous relationship is sexual intimacy. That's not really how I view it. I view the point of a monogamous relationship as intimacy, and the emphasis on the physical stuff comes later. So I just wanted to defend that, but basically, you know, a woman expressed a rather blasé attitude towards physical relationships, and the internet reacted. And this was actually one of the nicer asks that I received on it. So yeah, in terms of the ones I think are serious, I think Poe's Law for Tormund, Randall did literally nothing wrong. I hope Robert did literally nothing wrong. I think these last 3 have been all earnest. Femininity maligned as a weakness, I think, was earnest. And I'd say the one, as a man, I don't find the show toxically masculine. Yeah, I'm gonna say earnest for that. So, welcome to my inbox. This is a snapshot of what I normally get. And this was weeding it down. I hope you guys have been good. By the way, I'm sorry I haven't been particularly great about producing content lately. Real life, man. Real life has hit me like a goddamn truck this past 2 months. But I do think things are, you know, going to be calming down a little bit, ironically, as we're getting into the holiday season, just because, you know, I've got it all planned out. So it'll be good. Julie and I are going to be podcasting tomorrow, I think. And we're also going to be planning, finally, Carol Award nominations. So that process is going to get started, and we'd like to have the award ceremony. Oh, I don't want to give an end date. Before next month, I guess. I don't know. I'm sorry, this was so unorganized, stream of consciousness, blah, but hopefully it was at least partially amusing, or you can learn why you should never turn it on for your ask box.